Hello
Divya.
everyone. Hi.
Hi.
Hi Swati. Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
Divya. Happy
Hi.
Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to both of you as well.
Yeah, it's lovely connecting with both of you on the occasion of Valentine's Day. And personally, my Valentine's Day wouldn't have been complete without both of you. Ever since I have got to know about your wonderful event that you have launched on self-love, self-care, and being compassionate towards yourself and towards others, which made me really curious to bring you on board on the live event so that we are able to discuss more in detail about the event that you have launched, what made you launch this event, and also if you could share some more details about it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, it sounds very,
We
very
shared
perfect.
mutual feelings, Meghna and Swati.
Great. So I officially invite you to the Valentine's Day special session, which is particularly on self-love, self-care, and also being compassionate towards oneself and towards others, and which also very well resonates with the event that you had launched on Valentine's Day. So why don't you start by sharing the details about the event, what made you launch the event, and your entire idea about how why self-love, self-care, and being compassionate towards oneself and for the others is important at this point of time. Yeah.
Swati, would you like to talk about it?
You start with it, Divya.
Okay, so we realize that self-love is much more important than loving others because we were having our own experiences. Out of our own experience, we have gone through our own challenges in the relationships, and that was giving us a lot of loneliness and also a lot of other negative aspects. So realizing that giving, being comfortable with our own, with our uncomfortable self is something that made me realize that self love is much more important than loving others. And I must also say that before we love others, we should first love ourselves. So if we imagine that we have a circle of life, life as a circle, then the core of the circle should be me, myself. And also, unless my cup of happiness is not full, I will not be able to provide the same love with compassion and affection to other people. So that made me realize the importance of self love. And I think me and Swati echo on this, and that's how we thought of having this on board.
Okay, that's lovely. Swati, would you like to share your views and your insights on the event?
I will start with a quote by Brené Brown. Owning our story and loving ourselves is the bravest thing that is required in our life process. So, in this wonderful book of Brené Brown, The Gift of Imperfection, I just fell in love with this concept of self-love because when we ask a genie,
I guess we have lost Swati's connection.
Yeah.
We'll wait for a couple of minutes for her to join in. Yeah,
yes,
Swati, we had lost you. Now we are able to hear you. Yeah.
yeah. So now I hope you heard the Brené Brown quote.
Yes.
Now, when we always ask, people that if a genie comes, usually to our to children or to adults, when a genie comes, can you ask three wishes that you want fulfilled? Okay. So usually people, it has been found out through research that only 6% of them ask for happiness towards oneself or loving oneself first. Okay, that is never a wish. What becomes the wish is money, status, more of, having, external and, a lot of materialistic things. But loving yourself is never the first wish. If a genie comes to me now, when I am at this age, I would love to say that I want, or please grant me the wish to love myself the way I am, imperfectly perfect. Give me the courage to love myself. Give me the courage to be, vulnerable in front of people. Give me the courage not to judge myself when I make a mistake, or give me the courage to accept that with all the mistakes I make, I also have some great things that I give to to people around me. I have good things to offer to people. So this is why I thought that self-love, self-care, self-compassion is a very, very strong word when it comes to, especially on 14th February, on a Valentine's Day, when we always want to give flower to someone else to express love. There's no harm to it, but why don't I give the first flower to myself? Why don't I cut the cake in my name? Why don't I, hug myself and, just wear the crown for the day? So that's how we thought about this entire, concept of having a live discussion where people can ask us question, you can ask us question, and we are ready to answer anything that is there.
That's lovely, and that's a very wonderful idea that both of you came up with this very noble cause, I would say, or maybe a very noble idea of creating awareness around self love, self care, which is viewed very differently at the moment. So my first question to you is that usually when we talk about self love or self care, it is seen as becoming selfish, or maybe thinking more about yourself and not considering the others. So how can you define self love and self care in a more empathetic way, so that it gives a more holistic understanding to whosoever is trying to imbibe these feelings within oneself? Yeah.
Okay. So, I think you mentioned it rightly that a lot of people are not able to love themselves because the first thing that, the first thought that strike their mind is that I will feel the guilt of the self, or maybe people will label me as selfish people. So a selfish person. So to this thin line, we need to understand that this barrier we need to remove, this thin line we need to dissolve. And the way to dissolve, to understand about what is self love and what is selfishness. When it comes to self love is like, you can understand from the word itself, loving yourself. So I can say loving myself, but what self? Okay, what is self about? Self is not only about my physical health, not only about my mental health, it is all the core areas of my life. It can be my financial health, my social health, my spiritual health, my work life balance, and my other areas, my interest, my hobbies, my emotional well-being, everything, right? And also when it comes to whether we need to also understand whether in these areas we have some needs and we have some desires and aspirations. So once we understand the difference between the need and the aspiration, then we can, and the desire, then based on that we can decide that, because needs need to be met. Every human's basic needs need to be met, and the needs starts from having the basic need of food, water, shelter, safety, security, And then belongingness. Love is also our need. So, and but we always look up to somebody else to, fulfill that need. So that's why we came up with this idea of self-love, because we have to understand that how we can love ourselves first. So before we build a relationship with the other person, it should be based on, out of that I deserve love, not out of I am lonely, that's why I want to get into another relationship. And selfishness, when it comes to selfishness, it is more about, when there is a conflict happens, what happens, we start taking only our perspective. We look at the conflict or the situation only from our perspective. At that spur of moment, we do not think about others' perspective. But once everything settles down, then if we are able to understand others' perspective, then it is not selfishness. But if we are only considering our perspective, looking at the situation from our my own lenses and not others' lenses, then it might get we are into selfishness. And also, if we are keeping our wants over my significant others' needs, that is also selfishness, as per my understanding. Yeah.
Okay. And that's like a lot of information, very useful information. Swati, would you like to add something to it?
I think she said it beautifully. I just want to say one thing, that is, self-love does not make you selfish. It makes you productive. It helps you to skill yourself, as well as when you are productive and you are contented with your life, you will always want to share that happiness around you, and you will want to actually want others to also prosper. So, I think it was Barbara Fredrickson who wrote. Okay, please don't mind me giving quotes because I love reading books, and I pick up a lot of inspiration from there. So she said that when your cup is full of love and contentment and happiness for yourself, you tend to let the cup overflow to others. So I think, from my concept, and my perspective, I would like to say that self-love does not make you selfish. It makes you productive and a good human being.
That's lovely. That's beautiful. Which takes me to the next question, which is, if anyone wants to start investing in self-love and caring about themselves, so how does one start? Or if you could share some tips and techniques around, how can one start investing in self-love and self-care. If you have some tips, some exercises, some activities which one can do, they may be youth, they may be elder people. So would you like to share something on it?
Yeah. So what I understand, like I said, that understanding that thin line between the needs and wants is very important. So anybody can start identifying that what are their needs in each core area of their life. So that is one thing that we all need to understand. And then once we identify what are our needs, then we should start fulfilling it. So this is what my take from self-love is.
So, here I would like to add some of the tips that we follow from the part of Udgam when we are training our people, whether it's professionals, teachers, students. We always have some activities in hold. So, if you have paper, can you get it?
Yeah,
Right now?
I have.
Okay,
Yes, I
superb. Okay. So, what I want you to do is I want you to draw a face of yourself
okay,
with eyes,
okay,
nose, and cheek as the way you want it to be.
okay.
Now, once you draw that, I will, because you must be knowing that most of our, our emotions, okay, that we feel for ourselves or we feel for the other is run on a belief system that dictates our thought process, okay? So, for example, if I have been conditioned to believe that I am not beautiful, I will always, if I am, I will always judge myself even when I'm, dressing up or when I'm going and meeting people. I will be always in the belief system that somebody is not liking me, or somebody, will judge me that I am a little bulky or I'm dark in complexion. I'll always have that belief system. So what I want you to do is, I want you to draw that face, but don't draw hair, okay? Just a nice, bold, sweet face with the eyes, with a nose, with a mouth, okay? And it should represent the person that you are, okay? Once you are done with that, I will read out five belief statements. And if you believe in that statement always, then you draw a very circular, nice, curly hair for yourself. If you believe in that statement sometimes, you can draw a straight strand, okay? If you rarely believe in that statement, then you will draw a poker straight hair. Does that make you understand? Does that make
Yes,
you,
yes,
yeah?
yes.
Okay, fine. So I'll give you some time, 5 minutes, to all the viewers who have joined in, you as well as anybody else. Just draw a face first with your eyes, with your nose, with your mouth, and just imagine that that's you, and whatever emotions that you have come with, be with that emotion. Okay, if you're feeling happy, just draw a happy smiley face. Even if you're not feeling happy, you can draw a smile, because a smile, if you continuously, keep it on your face, you will automatically feel lighter and happier.
Yeah, so I'm done.
Okay, superb. That's great. So I will start with the first statement. The
Okay.
first statement is, I feel satisfied with myself and have self-compassion. If it is always you have that statement in your mind and you function your life that way, draw curly long hair. If you sometimes believe in this, then straight long hair. If it is rarely you believe on self-compassion and you are not feeling satisfied with yourself, just draw a poker straight hair.
Okay.
Okay, so you're done?
Yes.
Fantastic. Second statement, I feel connected with others and don't feel isolated at any point of time. I feel always connected with others and don't feel isolated at any point of time. Third statement, I feel loving myself makes me selfish. I feel loving myself makes me selfish.
Yes.
Okay. Then fourth statement. Well, I can see Divya isn't snowing. It's in the snow, actually. It's not snowing, it's in the snow. Statement four. I refuse to hold grudge and able to forgive myself easily. I refuse to hold grudge and am able to forgive myself easily.
Yes, done.
If the last statement, I do not allow regrets and disappointments to interfere with today. I do not allow regrets and disappointments to interfere with today. If that is what you believe in always, curly hair. If that is sometimes, then it is straight hair. And if it is rarely, then it is a poker straight hair. So why I do this activity, Meghna, is not to force you to assess yourself or, judge yourself that, oh, okay, there's something wrong with me if I've got too many poker straight hairs, or, I don't have many curls, whatever. I always tell my students, or, when we are doing a webinar or workshop, that when whatever activities that we are doing, this is not to assess yourself. Okay, that is actually not our intent. Our intent is to become aware of who you are. Become aware of what are your belief system. what are the emotions that you run your life with? Okay, if those emotions are well in control and you're able to regulate your life successfully, then good, carry on the same thing. If there are certain emotions which is actually not being adaptable to your life progress, or or is interfering in the healthy way of living, then ask for help. So ask for help only comes when you are connecting, getting aware, and accepting the person that you are, and then then carrying it on that way, and then going and seeking help. Sorry, Meghna, there is somebody who's trying to join in from my friend circle, and she's unable to join. So,
Maybe you can ask her to post her questions in the chat. She'll have to join in by clicking on the live option, which is going at the moment.
okay, okay, okay. You can start with your next question.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think very beautifully explained by both of you, and the activity was amazing. Which takes me to the next question. So, in one of your posts, I had read something about wholehearted living. So, would you like to, talk something about it and maybe explain the term, which is pretty new to me? So,
Okay.
yeah.
So it was also very, very new to me too. So wholehearted living has been coined by Brené Brown. And she said that if you really want to engage and live a fulfilled life, then you have to see your life from how worthy are you, from the place of worthiness. Okay, so wholehearted living lives on three C's. Okay, one is being connected with others, okay, and with yourself, being compassionate towards yourself as well as to the others, as well as living your life with courage. So these are the three C's which she spoke about if you want to live a wholehearted life. Okay, so now you might be asking, is that Swati, what is this connection? So it is the connection between two people who, you know, yeah, how will I say, who shares the same energy with each other. So, for example, between a husband and a wife, a relationship can work only when there is this energy of respect, when there is this energy of loving the other person despite the shortfalls, loving that person, even, and when you get that power and strength from that other person, that is the connection she's talking about. So she said that this connection is not only about materialistic connection, it is a connection spiritually. It is a connection where both of y'all may not be the same, may not have the same likes, you may not have the same, hobbies, you may not have the same taste in things, but that should not determine your relationship, your feeling of connectedness. That connectedness is either with a husband, wife, with two friends, with yourself, should be in the spiritual level, where you are drawing your inspiration, your energy, your sustenance, your strength from the relationship that you are in. And as well as when you are valuing the person and you are listening to the person without passing a judgment. So, for example, many a times in our working relationship, we are always very superficially listening to each other. We don't listen from our heart, where we try to have empathy and shared between each other. That is the connectedness she's talking about. She also spoke about courage, where it's a very, very important quality, where every human being, whether it's a woman or a man or a child, they should have the courage to lead an authentic life without the fear of what others will say. They should always have the feeling that my vulnerability or whatever my falls are is okay. because there is, along with my weaknesses, I also have my strengths. So this is the courage she spoke about. And the other is compassion. When you are compassionate to yourself, when you know that you have done a mistake or you had a huge failure in your life, you have to connect with that failure. You have to connect with that emotion, but at the same time, you have to be resilient enough to say that this is one mistake out of 200 million things that I've done in my life till now. So look at the good things that I have been able to achieve and not, cry too much on what I could not achieve. So that is compassionate towards oneself. If one relationship has failed, doesn't mean that I will have failures forever. So if I have, if I had a very unproductive education life in my childhood, or I had a experience of failure and I couldn't complete my course successfully, my classes or my board exams or whatever, doesn't mean that I will not be a successful human being. That is the compassion towards oneself. That's it.
That's lovely. Divya, would you like to add something to it?
Yeah, so I picked up a point from Swati where she was talking about authenticity. So being authentic is a very, very difficult thing. So we have this something called true self, what we are actually, and there is something called ideal self, that we idealize that this is how I want to be. Okay, irrespective of whether we have that courage to reach out to that, whether we have those skills to be that self or not. So but being authentic is a very, very difficult thing. Making these two things combined, true self and the ideal self, should being one, and you actually be the true self of yours. Okay, although you keep trying to be the ideal self, but not at the cost of your your care, your love. So unless you are not focusing on that my care, my love, my body, my heart, my soul, everything is taken care of by me, the basic needs are being taken care of by me, the ideal self does not hold any meaning. And also, to be authentic, you have to take a lot of risk of being disliked by others, risk of losing your stability. So that is also something that we have to keep in mind when we actually start loving to ourselves.
That's lovely. That's beautiful and very rightly pointed out by you that I mean it's a quest to find one's true self, and it all is based on a lonely drive wherein we constantly try to discover who we are, how we are, and our true self, and the more we are authentic to ourselves, the better we are in getting closer to our journey of self discovery. Which takes me to the next question on how important do you feel is the entire concept or the entire process of heartfulness and also mindfulness when we talk about leading a healthy life. So how do you feel that the being heartful and at the same time being mindful can help one in leading a healthy life, and at the same time can help them in synchronizing their body, mind, and soul? So yeah.
So, very beautiful question, Meghna. Very, very beautiful and apt question. There is a beautiful book called Ikigai, which is, I think it's on mindfulness. I read it, and it talks about an entire village in Japan, which actually follows this mindfulness technique. And they have seen huge positive results when you're talking about mindfulness. Mindfulness is nothing but a type of meditation where you try to focus intensely on what you are doing at the present moment. Okay, so basically being aware of all your senses and feeling, and trying to be consciously making efforts to be in the present. Because most of the time we are either in the past or in the future. It is good to be in the past because past gives us the kind of things that we need to learn and be, and unlearn. That is why past is important. Future is important because we have to set goals for our life. But when we are shuffling between, past and future, we are completely at loss with the present. We are not living a present life. So most of the time you will see people are doing work with a thought somewhere else, mindlessly doing work. Okay, so mindfulness is a very, very important practice, and it is a very, very easy practice. Like, for example, I'll give you, Meghna, for example, you are just going for your walk, okay, or a run in the morning, okay, or you're simply sitting and listening to music. So rather than, thinking of what happened yesterday and what I have not completed yesterday, which will reflect in my future, I start bringing all the senses to my breathing. I start becoming aware of my, the sensations that I'm feeling. So whether all my senses, so getting all my senses active. What am I seeing in my surrounding when I am running or when I'm walking? What is the kind of smell that I'm getting? What is the kind of sensation of hot or cold that I'm feeling? All of this is very, very important when we talk about living a mindful life. So living a life of being in the moment, being present is important. So when you are being in the present, you don't harbor too many negative thoughts of your past. Okay, and you tend to let go. Letting go is a very difficult task. Okay, so this is what we need to do. Mindfully letting go of certain things which are binding us, which may be holding us. It can be in the form of an experience. It can be in the form of, some memory. It can be in the form of anything which is tangible or intangible. Holding us back is actually stopping us to move forward. So we are like a train. There are compartments, and each compartment carries a lot of experiences and memories that we carry. Some of the memories are fantastic. Take it up, carry it with yourself. Some of the memories or experiences are a burden. So you have to let go. So you have to pause, be mindful, and just throw the baggage out and let the train move ahead. So that is the concept of mindfulness.
That's very beautifully explained by you, Swati. Divya, would you like to add something to it?
I think Swati has covered most of the things. She has spoken about how being here and now is very, very important to love ourselves. Because what we do is basically we do injustice with our soul by being preoccupied and occupied all the time with the thoughts, because that those thoughts keep hurting us, and we become very, very judgmental about it. And another thing that puts us into more trouble is thinking about thinking. So first we are already having a lot of negative and unhelpful thoughts, and top of it we think that we are going through these unhelpful thoughts, and this basically breed lot of fear and anxiety also in us. So being present and now, listening to the music, when you are listening to the music, you are completely indulging into the music. When you are cutting the vegetables, you are actually feeling the texture of the vegetable. You are noticing those things which has been tuned out all these days. So that's what is mindfulness, paying attention to
Uh,
the things. Huh?
that's great. That brings me to the last part of our discussion. So, and it's because it's the Valentine's Day. So I would want you to share your Valentine's message with the participants who are following us, who are live with us, and also who are there on the page who will be watching your video once we end the session, come to an end to the session. And also, if there are any tips and techniques that you would like to share, which the participants can imbibe in their daily schedule, which can help them in inculcating self care, self love, and also the activities around the same in their day to day schedule, which is generally very hectic. So yeah, over to you and your message, your Valentine message to everybody whosoever is watching us live. Yeah.
So I like to say that happy Valentine to all of y'all, and it is important to love someone, yes, but as Divya had mentioned in one of the messages, don't love someone because you're lonely. Love someone because y'all are connecting. Y'all are feeling connected with each other, both physically as well as spiritually, as well as enjoy your life, live the life to the fullest. Because life, I live by one motto: life is too short, it's too short and unpredictable and uncertain. So create moments, find small windows to have fun with people you love, connect with people you love. There can be many tips on self-love, but the most important tip that I would like to give y'all is, especially to the new mothers, to the to the women, that find time for yourself. Even if it is like stealing time out, even 10-15 minutes out, just to be connecting with your own true self, that is very, very important. Connect with yourself. Don't think what others might be judging you for, even when you're shutting the door and you're saying that I want 10 minutes with myself. Don't worry about what others might tell you. Just go for that 10 minutes, because that 10 minutes will help you to live a very, very productive and fruitful life in the future, because you will know how to regulate your your time. Because nobody comes to us with a platter that here's your time and this is the schedule. You have to regulate your timetable properly, prioritize your life. So prioritize of life means, first is making sure you're physically healthy. Go for yoga, meditation, mindfulness technique. Divya can end with the grounding technique, where you can talk about the senses. That can be practiced every day. And you can listen to whatever, or have a hobby. Okay, if you want to listen to music, and that can be a hobby, or you want to dance salsa or tango, go and join for salsa and tango. I've joined for guitar classes, so at this age, I have joined classes. So go and skill yourself up, okay, because you are important first. When you are happy, the entire family is happy. That's it.
Very true, and very beautifully, pointed out by you, Swati, that being yourself, and also practicing mindful techniques in whichever way possible is it helps you in connecting with others, and at the same time being at peace with your self, and it helps you in concentrating more in the work that you are into, and the at the same time taking care of the people who are there around you. It could be your friends, it could be your family, it could be your relatives. So very, very beautifully pointed, I mean, said by you. Thanks,
Thank
Swati.
you so much, Meghna.
Yeah.
Divya, you can finish the session with a grounding technique that will be very useful for our viewers.
Okay. So grounding technique is basically, it is about connecting yourself with the earth. Like Swati was talking about, being self-aware is most important, or we can say it is the first step towards the self. So same way, connecting yourself to the earth is the first step towards the self-awareness. Okay. So here, through this grounding technique, I will be taking you through the journey of a technique called 5-4-3-2-1 technique. Okay, that will help you to be aware of your surroundings, and especially to those details which you have tuned out from your mind. Okay, and that those things need to be noticed through all your five senses. So we will start with this, that just first of all you have to come to the present and here and now, and you have to imagine that what are the five things that you can see around you. Notice those small details.
I guess we have lost the
Yeah,
connection. We will
yeah.
wait for
The
two
light
three
is
minutes for
falling
her
on
to
the
join back.
surface and then it is reflecting. You can notice.
Divya, we had lost you in between. If you could repeat.
Yeah,
Five things.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was saying is, what are those five things that you can see now? Okay, you can see the texture of the ceiling. You can see the light which is reflecting from a surface. You can see the object which is lying in your room and you have never noticed. So just see those five things around you. That is the first step towards the grounding technique.
Divya, do
Now,
we need to write
what
it
are those
down?
four? That's okay. You just have to think about it. Okay, you
Okay.
just have to uh, follow. Okay, if you want, you can write it down also. Okay, then what are those four things that you can feel? It can be if you are sitting in a chair, on a chair, then what is the feeling of sitting on in the chair? If you're sitting on a bed, then what is the texture and feel of that bed sheet? You can have the sensation of your own clothes. You can also take an object and see the weight of that object. You can also feel the texture of that object. So you just have to feel the things around you. Feel through your skin. Now, what are the three things that you can hear? Pay close attention to the chirping of birds around you, or maybe the distant traffic, okay? Or maybe the sounds that your mind has tuned with. It can be the ticking of the clock. Just pay attention, a close attention to those sounds. Now, what are those two things that you can smell? If there are any veggies around you, can you have the aroma of those veggies? You can you can smell what the air is carrying. If there is an aroma or if there is the air freshener. So just feel that. Now, by the end, what are that one thing that you can taste? So you can just go and grab one small snack or a gum or a candy and completely immerse into that. So you have to immerse into that by feeling its texture, its taste, its flavor. Okay. And that's how you come through all your five senses. So having this practice on your daily basis, or whenever you are just giving a me time is not only about uh, partying with someone or just thinking about someone. Me time is giving the meaningful time to yourself, and the meaningful time can be through the mindfulness technique. It can be through what you like, just thinking about it, visualizing about good things. So my final message, I would say that self-love is being comfortable in your skin, being comfortable with your most uncomfortable self. Thank you so much.
That was lovely. And so before we end this, there's a last open floor, question for you, wherein if there is anything which you feel is important and is left out in our discussion, you can share it. So it could be your final message to everyone, or I mean, it could be on the topic, or it could be on the Valentine's Day, your feelings, your message, anything. It's an open floor for you. On which, I mean, if you feel that there's something left out, that there's something important that you would like to share, it could be anything that you would like to, speak out. It could be your own feelings. So it's an open floor for you. So over to you.
Meghna, I would like to just add on one thing here, which is a very important part of every day, everyone going through it, is the mental health. So when we are talking about self-love and self-care, compassion, we are also talking about mental health of oneself. So I want everyone to understand that mental health is very, very important. Emotional wellness is equally important. You have to be aware of the emotions that is conflicting your or is adding as a barrier to your progress. Connect with it, bring it to awareness, accept yourself with that emotion, okay, and then take action. Actually, the word emotion comes from the Latin word motere, which is to take action. So when we feel fear, it is to take action for that feeling fear. So we immediately take protection, or we take some kind of, fast, our mechanism works that way, that we take refuge immediately from that fear, from the danger. Okay, so it is very important for every human being, whether it's a student, whether it's an adult, everyone needs to be aware of emotions, the thoughts. It is, our thoughts, there is a situation that happens and that leads to a particular thought, and that thought actually manifests into an emotion, and the emotion tells us how to regulate our behavior. So it's a vicious cycle. Okay, so that goes on in our mind continuously. So I want people to be very, very mindful about what is happening within them, take action and seek help. Okay, don't stop just by accepting your problem, seek help, because that is where people start not going to counselors, not going to psychotherapists, not going to psychologists. They just stay in their own house. Okay, I want people to walk out, because we all are broken. We all have to know that all of us are in the same platform. We all experience the feeling of failure, the feeling of not being loved, the feeling of being lonely. All of us experience this. It's not only you. So we want people to understand this, and we want people to use, I mean, at least Udgam wants to pass on this information to as many, that it's time to take action about your life, your own life. So that's all from my end. So Divya, if you want to add in.
I really like what you are saying, that along with that, I would also like to say that taking responsibility of your life is the first step towards taking some action towards your life.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Meghna.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and
Thank you
it was
so much.
lovely. Yeah, it was lovely having both of you over here, and the discussion was also very. I mean, it was wonderful to also interact with you, because there were so many new things that I learned while interacting with you, and the techniques that you shared were also very useful. And I'm sure that whosoever is watching this video, they will be able to imbibe, the feeling of self-love, self-care, and also being compassionate towards themselves and the others, as they proceed with their day-to-day hectic schedule going forth. And happy Valentine's Day to both of you once again.
Thank you.
And yeah, we would look forward to have you in on our upcoming sessions that we are planning to have. And this was also a very wonderful and a very noble idea to have a discussion around, important topic like pertaining to mindfulness, heartfulness, and also mental health on the occasion of Valentine's Day. So it's my pleasure to have you over here
Thank you.
once again, and it was lovely interacting with you, both of you.
Thank you so much, Meghna, and thanks for giving us the opportunity. We are truly grateful on this beautiful occasion of Valentine's Day. It is so very important to express what we stand as a company, Udgam stands for. And that is, we want people to become aware of their own self, their true self, their authentic self, and at the same time take responsibility, as Divya said, and take action. Yeah. So
Very
thank
true.
you guys, and a very, very happy
Thank you.
Valentine's Day to you all once again. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Valentine's Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Love you all. Bye.
Bye bye. Yeah.
Bye.